Hi, so today I'm excited to show you this React clone that I've been working on, and I definitely learned a lot by building it, even though it doesn't come close to implementing all the features of React, of course. But I did some core functionalities like rendering JSX to the DOM, and also using useState and useEffect. So let's check it out. And if you want to learn more, I wrote a Medium article explaining how I did this, so it's in the description below. I encourage you to check it out. So let's get started. So taking a look at the package JSON file first, you can see that I don't have React installed. We just got jest for testing. We've got parcel to package it up, prettier to format it a little bit, and then TypeScript. It does its normal thing, but also in this example it's going to be important because it can actually start that process of transpiling JSX. Babel is also another tool that does this, but we can get away with just using TypeScript for now. So let's try and make some JSX and see if it's able to render that. So let's say we've got some kind of article here, and then we can go ahead and render that to the root. And we see that it's working so far. We've got our text showing up here, so let's see if we can go a little bit further with it. Let's try some nested JSX and see if it's arranging the children how we would expect it. So maybe we've got like a title here called Recreating React. Maybe we've got an author's name, yours truly. And then maybe we've also got like some content here. Alright, now we've got some. Alright, so it looks like it's displaying properly. Let's check out the DOM. And yeah, it looks like our children are nested exactly how we would expect them. So it's working well so far. Let's try and put in some property here, like class name, because class name is an important one, not only because it's used so often, but also because when you're transferring JSX to the DOM, we've got to update that class name to just class. So let's see if that works. And we've got our new DOM here, and we can see that it is actually converting those attribute names, which is good. So far so good. Let's try, because most of the time we're not just writing JSX, right? We're writing some kind of function component, so let's try that. Put that in here, and then we've got to write it the proper way. Alright, so we can see it's still rendering like we would expect, which is good. So we're handling function components okay. And then now let's see the useState and useEffect, because so far we've been rendering JSX to the DOM, and that seems to be working well. So let's try a useState hook. We'll try to set the theme between a light and dark mode. We'll start with light, and then we'll say maybe there's a button here, and it's going to have an on click, so we're also testing if it's got if it's transferring the events to the DOM as well. So let's say we're just going to call set theme based on if our current theme is light or not. So if it's light, we're going to change it to dark. Otherwise, we'll change it to light. And of course, this has to be all wrapped into one. So we'll just put a div there, since we don't have fragments yet. Alright, and then let's just add an image so that we can see the state change. It won't actually change the page yet from light to dark mode, but we see that the icon is changing, which means our state is also changing, so that's good. Now let's test the last one, which is useEffect. So let's say when the theme changes, let's say we'll change the document body class name. And I've set up some CSS styling to kind of style the page appropriately. So let's see that in action. Let's see if it calls that useEffect when our state changes. Alright, so that's working how we would expect. So our useEffect is being called when theme changes. Now let's test the other cases when useEffect should be called. And we'll just do some console logs with these ones. So if it's an empty array, we'll say it's called every render, or it should be at least. And then if we give it an array but it's empty, then it should run on start. So let's see if that works. Okay, so we see that the one is called every render, and the one that's called on start, they both get called when the page first loads, which is what we would expect. And then if we change the theme, which is changing one of the states, then we would expect the one that calls every render to be called, not the one that's called on start. So let's see that. So that is working how we would expect. So it looks like our useEffect is working as well. So, alright, so everything is looking good. Our demo is working as we would expect it. JSX is being rendered to the DOM. Set useState and useEffect are both working how we would expect. So yeah, I was excited to learn a lot during this project. There was a lot that I didn't get to, like reconciliation, which is very important to increase efficiency in React because it compares the old virtual DOM to the new virtual DOM, and then it only replaces the DOM nodes that have actually changed, whereas in this kind of basic implementation, I'm just recreating the entire DOM tree. Another feature to implement would be concurrent mode, which kind of prioritizes some actions over others. So if a user is typing into an input field, you definitely want that to be as quick as possible for the best user experience. And so React would prioritize that loading over maybe something else that maybe the user can't even see at the moment or is not interacting with. So despite those future directions that I could go in, I'm really satisfied with the project so far, and I encourage you to check out the Medium article and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.